If you've been living under a rock, then you probably aren't aware of the situation with Steam, Visa, MasterCard, itch.io, Collective Shout, the whole video game censorship thing. I don't want to get too deep into that. A basic recap is this feminazi group in Australia decided that they don't like porn or something. They don't like nudity in games, a bunch of puritanical assholes. And they went straight to Visa and MasterCard and sent nastygrams to them and to PayPal and others who ultimately just answered to Visa and MasterCard. And they said, you're profiting off of this reprehensible, all these drawn criminal acts. Incest, take your pick. But you're profiting off of these and we demand that you stop. And Visa and MasterCard went to Steam and itch.io and said, hey, you got to stop. You have to delist all these games. You can't sell these adult games. Bear in mind, the games are legal, 100% legal under United States law. They can be purchased anywhere in the United States. These are United States companies doing business in the United States with the United States payment card processor as an intermediate that takes the money from me and puts it in your hand. And that's all they do, and that's all that they should do, and they have no business making any moral judgments about anything that I want to purchase. But I have come up with a different theory about this issue that I don't think anybody has actually come up with or covered. And that is that this censorship thing, this video game, all of this video game censorship coming down from the payment processors, and possibly even from a wider stance, maybe even all the way back to feminist frequency and Gamergate and all that. But I think all of this video game censorship, especially of adult games, but also the racism, sexism, whatever, I think that all of this could actually be explained with one explanation, not multiple. And how is that, you might ask? So, if you look at Visa and MasterCard, and you look at who they answer to, you'll find that Visa and MasterCard are owned by other corporations. I don't remember the exact ones, but let's just use BlackRock as an example because I think that's one of them. They are owned by these mega corporations, at least in large parts. Those same mega corporations that own big chunks of Visa and MasterCard also own big chunks or all of, through perhaps subsidiaries, various AAA gaming studios and other competitors that are severely threatened by independent games. Your favorite indie game takes away time and attention of potential customers from the we wish it was $80 but nobody's going to buy it for some reason AAA title. Why won't they pay $80 for our increasingly annoying games? Because you're buying the indie games. You're not buying the AAA titles. You're spending $10 or whatever, or even nothing in the case of a lot of stuff on itch.io. You're spending between $0 and $15 on an indie title that's better than a lot of these high budget, high value, years long, funded and supported and demanded to make bankroll by these large company AAA games. That was terrible grammar-wise, and I'm sorry. But these large conglomerates own both big chunks of the card processors and big chunks of these competitors to indie games. Steam and Itch are the two biggest marketplaces in the world for independent game developers to sell their products. Now, how do you cut the indie game scene off at the knees? You make it so that they can't sell their games easily. But you can't just go to Steam and be like, oh, you can't sell your game. No. First, you've got to get rid of some of them somehow. You've got to get your foot in the door. And that's what I think this really is. This whole Visa, MasterCard, payment processors getting in the way of legal video game purchases thing, I think it's actually a wedge to get you off of these indie titles that you like. Now, granted, a small subset, but I don't know if you've noticed, but it's expanded. There are actually major games that have been caught up in this, very well-known games. I think Detroit Become Human, and there's just a bunch that are not what you would think of as, Collective Shout, I think, put it best when they said, I want to rape my daughter incest simulators. And that's what they claim that they are, but then there's these games that are not even remotely that just have adult themes, And they're not allowed anymore because Visa says so. And who runs Visa? Who's in control? These big conglomerates that also own these game studios that aren't doing very well because these indies keep making them look bad. That's my conspiracy theory for today. Tell me what you think in the comments. And by the way, YouTube has been getting really grouchy, so like and subscribe and comment would be really helpful. They don't care about your views anymore. Yeah, give me some of that delicious engagement. Thanks for watching.